She laughed. Ink barely dried on the divorce papers, and she laughed. Like she'd won, like I was the fool left holding the shattered pieces. Her manicured nails tapped rhythmically against the polished mahogany table as she slid the final sign page across to the court clerk. Her scarlet lips curled with satisfaction, smug eyes deliberately avoiding mine, as if I no longer existed, as if I hadn't once been her entire world. I didn't react. I simply nodded to the judge, calm, composed, unmoved, because I knew the real moment wasn't in the signing. It was in the reading. The judge cleared his throat, adjusted his glasses, and then began to read the final declaration of assets aloud. And in that one breath, her entire world stopped. She froze, right there in her designer heels, spine stiffening, fingers halting mid-tap. I didn't flinch. I didn't blink. 8 years. That's how long we were married. I met her at gallery opening. She stood barefoot on polished concrete, sipping red wine in a sundress that cost more than my rent. She said she just loved art. I should have known then. But I fell anyway. Hard. She used to laugh like it came from her soul, like she felt joy down to her bones. Not like now. Not like that empty little chuckle in a courtroom. We built a life together, or so I believed. I worked long nights, bled for the company I built from nothing. She said she supported me, said she understood. What she really understood was patience. She understood how to play the long game. The first crack wasn't loud. It didn't shatter anything. It was subtle. A phone lighting up at 2:43 a.m. A name I didn't recognize. She said it was a work friend. Said I was being paranoid. So I didn't push. I didn't yell. I watched. Then came the girls' weekends to Dubai. The hushed, late-night whispers in the kitchen when she thought I was asleep. The sudden change in perfume. The phone now locked with a passcode. Her eyes always somewhere else. And finally, a charge on our joint card. A 5-star hotel in our city. One she had never visited with me. I didn't confront her. Not then. I didn't need noise. I needed truth. I needed leverage. Pain turned to purpose. You don't confront a liar with rage. You corner them with silence. I started moving in the shadows. Quietly. Precisely. First, I shifted the money. I restructured our finances with the kind of care a surgeon uses when cutting close to the heart. I created new holding companies, offloaded stocks, liquidated just enough to be seen, hid what needed to stay buried. I transferred ownership of my intellectual property, placed my company under an irrevocable trust, one she could never touch. I hired a forensic accountant to make sure the paper trail looked like it had always been that way. Next, I hired a private investigator. 3 weeks. That's all it took. Photos, receipts, videos, her and the work friend. A tanned, overconfident gym rat who ran fake crypto seminars online. Real subtle, real classy. They weren't even discreet. She thought she was untouchable. I let her think that. Let her believe I was weak. Let her believe I was the broken man she could walk over without resistance. Meanwhile, I was building my case. So when she finally looked me in the eye one morning and said she wanted a divorce, I agreed too quickly. That threw her off. She expected begging, groveling, maybe some dramatic heartbreak. Instead, I asked if she wanted tea. We filed amicably on paper, but behind the quiet signatures, a war was being fought. She assumed she'd get half. Half the house, half the company, half the future. She giggled with her lawyer during the first settlement meeting, said she was looking forward to her fresh start. She even wore white to the final court date. White, as if this was a new beginning, a twisted second wedding. And then the judge began reading. Her smile held for the first few lines. After a thorough examination of financial disclosures and corporate structuring, the judge began, "It is concluded that the business in question is no longer under sole ownership, but is held entirely by an irrevocable trust." She blinked. "And therefore," he continued, "is not subject to division under current marital asset law." That was the first real crack. Then came the avalanche. The cars leased. The house. Technically owned by my holding company, with me paying rent. Bank accounts. Moved clean, untouchable. The only liquid assets under my personal name? backslash $42,000. That's all she was entitled to. Not half. Not the millions she had counted on. Just scraps. Her fingers stopped moving. The laughter died. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Her lawyer leaned in close, whispering fast, the panic visible. I didn't look at her. I looked through her. She tried to speak, to the judge, to me, to some higher power. I don't know, but I wasn't listening anymore. She filed first, but I finished it. She betrayed me, and I dismantled the illusion she built. She wanted freedom, so I gave her exactly that. Freedom without fortune. Freedom without comfort. Freedom without me. Outside the courthouse, I stood alone. The wind caught the hem of my coat as she stormed past me. No smugness, no smile. Just silence. She didn't even glance in my direction, but I looked at her. I watched every step she took away from me, heels shaky on the concrete, every breath shallow with humiliation, and I felt nothing but clarity. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. They're wrong. It's best served legal, strategic, surgical, signed, stamped, and sealed. Let her laugh again, this time in a 2-bedroom rental, wrapped in credit card debt, clinging to a gym rat who thinks Bitcoin is a personality trait. As for me, I'll keep building, quietly, powerfully, alone, because peace after betrayal doesn't live in chaos. It lives in the silence that follows a storm. And I've never heard silence sound so good.